Y'all, I was out in the garden the other day doing just one of my daily walks that I like to do to check on things. And I had this thought. It's May. I bet you those creepy alien-like pupae vine borers are starting to emerge into their moth form. So I started going around the garden and checking, and sure enough, y'all, I found two. And I was like, I have to warn you guys. I have to warn y'all to go out and check your squash plants right now before it's too late. And I want to show you what to look for, what they look like in their egg form, and also what to do if they've already hatched. It's still not too late. Hi, Trigo. Now, I used to spray neem oil and BT religiously in my garden. I found that it really didn't prevent the pests from eating my plants. But what it did do, I didn't see any beneficial insects. The predators, the ones that will eat the eggs and eat those bad bugs that love to eat our plants. So I stopped spraying neem oil. I stopped putting out BT. And I noticed that slowly I started getting beneficial insects in my garden. I started seeing the daddy longlegs, the assassin bug, red and pink ladybugs, the spined soldier beetle, all the little guys that you want to see in your garden. Finally, they were here. And this year has been the biggest boom yet. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty. What am I looking for? Vine borers come up from the soil. They look like these moths that resemble wasps, and they do that on purpose. They want to trick you and other insects. But they don't bite, they don't sting. They will lay eggs on any type of squash. I'm talking pumpkins, gourds, summer squash, winter squash, all of it. I've even seen them on squash types that have said that vine borers can't get through. I've seen the eggs on those too. Lay them on the stem of the plant. At the base, also on the stem leaf. They will generally lay their eggs in just a few at a time, kind of sporadically, not in a row or a cluster. From my experience, I will find one or two at a time. If you've ever heard of putting aluminum foil at the base of your plant to keep vine borers away, that won't work because they don't just lay their eggs on the base of the plant. They'll go all the way up. Oh, I see a lady squash beetle. They're out right now too, y'all. And yes, I will just squish bugs with my hands and their eggs. My kids think I'm so gross, I know, but I don't really care at this point. It doesn't really bother me anymore. And these eggs are kind of a brownish color. They're pretty small, but if you know what you're looking for, they do stand out, because if you see the stem of your squash plants, it's green. So I find they're not that difficult to spot. Especially the more you get out there each day and the more eggs you see, they're easier to spot. Now, I like to go out every day. I go out in the morning and the evening to look for pests, just checking on each individual plant and seeing if there might be anything going on that I need to address. So I highly recommend, if you're an organic gardener, get out there every day. Be active in the garden. Claim your garden, because if you don't, the pests will. This is where they're all coming out right now, mating, laying eggs. And if you're not out here, hi Starlight, and checking on your garden each day, they will take over. And I don't know about you, but having your garden overrun by pests is overwhelming, and it will make anyone not want to go out there. And you just kind of give up and let the bugs have it. So say you've been busy and you haven't been out there checking on things. What you want to look for is, number one, if you see a squash plant that is wilting in the morning. It's normal to see your squash during the heat of the day starting to look kind of wilted. But if you're seeing them wilting in the morning, that's a sign that you most likely have a vine borer in there, if not a few. What they do when they hatch is they embed themselves in the stem of your plant and they start to feed. And they feed for up to 4 to 6 weeks. And what that does to your plant is it cuts off its ability to absorb water, so it starts to wilt, eventually killing it. So if you start noticing some wilting in the morning, go check it out. Look at the stem of the plant, not just at the bottom. You might start to notice some frass, which is basically their droppings. Oh goodness, guys, don't get all mad. You'll also see a hole of where they embedded themselves in. Now, even at this phase, y'all, don't give up. Grab a sharp knife and perform a little surgery. I did this last year, and you know what? I'll have to tell you, it's quite satisfying. So what you're gonna do is where you see that frass, that's most likely where that little vine borer is gonna be. And you're gonna take your sharp knife and you're gonna cut right where you see the frass. And then you're gonna gently open that part up and you will see your vine borer. Ah, haha, there it is. There's that little bugger eating my squash. You see him moving in there? And vine borers kind of resemble a maggot. They can get quite fat and large though. They've got black heads. And chickens love them. Here he is. Okay, come on, eat him. Then what I like to do is I use electrical tape a lot with my plants to repair plants that may be snapped. So I take that electrical tape and I wrap it around that fresh wound that I just created to keep other bugs out. So that's a way you can still save your plant, even if they hatched and went in. Now in the early spring, when you're putting out your garden and digging in the soil, or if you do fall or winter gardening, you might come across them in their pupae form. They are kind of a dark reddish rusted color, and they're really creepy looking. The first time I saw them, I was like, what on earth is this? It looks like some sort of alien from outer space. I tossed it to my chickens and they absolutely loved it. It was a great little treat. So if you can find them in that form, that's perfect before they even hatch. Last year I did have some vine borers that succeeded and killed some of my plants. I noticed certain sections of the vine that were bulging and cracking, and I cut them open just out of curiosity. Was there anything in there? No, there wasn't. The vine borer had already dropped down into the soil, and it will stay there until your next spring, summer. Luckily with these guys, they only do have one cycle during the spring, summer season, but they can seriously destroy your squash crop. So get out there every day, you guys. If you can't get out there every day, at least every other day, every third day. It does take them about 7 to 10 days once they lay the egg to hatch. So you do have a little bit of time, but I highly suggest be active in your garden, claim it for your own. I know it can get overwhelming, and my garden here is about 1/4 of an acre, and I'm able to go throughout here each day on my own and check on things. I do it twice a day. To be honest, I could live out in the garden this time of year, bring out a sleeping bag and sleep here. I just love being out here so much, and I really enjoy looking at the different new beneficial insects that I might see in the garden. So I don't expect y'all to do that, but get out there as much as you possibly can. Don't let the vine borers take your garden this year. Okay, y'all, I hope you're having a lovely day. Take care, and we'll see you next time.